We're good, we're good.
Well, thank you all for coming and joining us here at Washington State SummerCon. We're super excited. We not only have a lot of your fans, but we have some super fans in the house. Where are my super fans at? Very excited to talk to you guys. And
thanks for having the Q&A at the end of the weekend.
Yes, right?
Yeah.
Fresh and ready for it.
Yeah, it's great that we're here. We were hoping to do it yesterday, so we didn't be excited. But you're here, you showed up. So thank you.
All right, so well, let's start with the basic one. This show has had such a great impact on so many fans out there. What do you think it is? And this could be open to all of you. What is it about this show that's resonated with so many fans and still does to this day?
Kristin?
I really think it's about being an outsider. I mean, I've said this before. It's a show about being your outsiderness, being your superpower. The thing that it feels weird about you, the thing that feels alien about you, is actually the thing that makes you the most special. And I feel like that is what puberty, that's kind of what you wish is happening when you're that age, when you're a teenager and you feel ostracized and isolated and alone, and you just want that. That's the fantasy.
Escape too. We all need a little escape.
Sure, that's another reason. Yeah.
Laura?
I agree. I think that twisted with the aspect of the good guy wins. You know, people want to see that. They want to see that something goes wrong, and when you stick with your ethics and your morals and truth and all of those kinds of things, it will win out in the end. I think people want to know that story.
Great answer.
Eric, is it true that I heard that you were close to giving up on acting when you went in for the audition for your character?
Yeah, I do that like every 6 months though. But no, I think at that point, yeah, I wanted a bit of a break. I kind of hit against a wall, which was like very much so they hire out of LA for all their big parts. And so for me, that was kind of what I assumed was going to happen again. And they told me to go in anyway, and I did. And I was their cup of tea, so it worked out.
Now here's a question. You all kind of got your start in the late 90s, early 2000s. I'm curious, how have you seen the industry change since then? Because now we're 20 plus years later. Is it, do you think it's harder to get into the business, easier now that there's so many content creators, or what's your thoughts on that?
I think what matters most in terms of getting into business, I think it's how passionate you are about getting into the business. You shouldn't look at how hard it is and how much adversity there is. I think it's when you love something and you want to do it, nothing should stop you. You should find a way. And so people always say it's harder. I think it's always been hard. It's always been hard to get into that door, get into that room, to talk to someone, but if you do the work and you work on your craft, I think you will make it at some point. You have to just love it enough and not think, oh, I'll try, I'll give it a shot. That doesn't work. You have to be all in. I mean, some people get lucky, but it's a lot of hard work.
And we're seeing a huge shift for women as well in the past several years, which has been yes. We have so many more female directors. I think I had 2 in 25 years in my career. Like, it was just so rare. So we're seeing more opportunities for women leading shows, female superheroes for this genre. So that's been really nice to watch as we've aged in the industry. The opportunities are greater.
Nicely said.
I will say though, yes, you have to be committed and you have to throw your everything into it because it is hard. It is not an easy business, and there's a lot of rejection no matter what path you choose. And so if you aren't fully committed, 100% in, that this is the thing that you want, and you're going to work your butt off to become great at it, and you love it more than anything, It isn't easy. I would pick it if you're looking for an easy path.
And it takes thick skin too.
Oh,
and I don't think
yeah.
a lot of us have that thick skin, but you love it so much you stick it out. It's the amount of tears, I mean, I can just say personally that I've cried in this industry for the loss of jobs or, you know, how hard you're working. You have to, like we all said, love it.
It's like a volatile relationship.
Yeah.
It's like you're in a relationship and you're like, this is going great. I love it. And then you're like, I don't want to date this person. I don't like this person. I don't like how they talk to me. I don't like their tone.
But no one else will date me.
But I don't have a choice. I don't have a choice. I love this person too much. It's I could go deeper if you like.
I think it's like, with this business, it's like just this ever-changing amorphous beast that feeds whatever's happening in society at the time. And I think one of the things that's helped me is to realize that, or try to continue to work on the fact that my value doesn't lie in the business, and that's really challenging. And also that it doesn't have to be or look like I thought it had to look like in my 20s. Like, to really kind of look at the next thing that's coming through and what kind of projects are happening, and that's okay, and it doesn't have to look like somebody else's. And so it's almost like if I kind of focus in on me, just myself, what I'm doing, simplify, then I'm okay. But just like all of us, if we're looking at Instagram, we get a little depressed because we're not just focusing on the awesome simplicity of your own experience. Does that make sense?
Yes, great. That made a lot of sense. And I think another aspect of that is the industry changes all the time, and to remain flexible and kind of stay mobile. Don't think you ever have it figured out. Yeah. Sorry, that's
And
a lot of
also,
answers.
I agree. I think that, and it's important for me, you know, it was always acting. And I was like, you know me, I'm ADD and I get bored.
No.
So like, I want to start writing. I want to direct. I want to write a book. I want to do there's so many opportunities and things to do if you put the work in to do whatever you want to do. So, you know, yeah, I enjoy it all now. For the first time, probably a long time, I'm doing things not just trying to jump to the end result, but actually enjoying the process and enjoying what I'm doing. And that makes, you know, if you enjoy what you're doing and you're not so caught up in the success of it all, and will people love it? Will I succeed? Will I sell this? Will I get the part? You know? That's where you're in the wrong room. Star Trek is the next 10 over. Oh, the ladies' room. That's
I get you.
I want to come back to something Laura just said about there being more opportunities, especially for women in the roles. What kind of preparation did you do for taking on the character that could very well inspire young women, and then later on, even in its own series as Supergirl?
Preparation?
Yeah.
I was just terrified. When I joined this cast, this amazing cast, they had already done 6 seasons. I watched the show, I was a fan. So I was terrified getting the job, terrified during the job, and then eventually was okay when the job was done, and I was like not on it anymore.
She's not terrified now.
I'm not terrified now. I was also like 18. So everything was terrifying. This is just how you are at 18. You think you're gonna get fired, you're not good enough. You know, at the time, the role models we had for female superheroes was Helen Slater, 84, and I think Margot Kidder. I mean, but there weren't many on TV, and I knew how successful the show was, so I just didn't want to fail anybody. I didn't want to disappoint anyone. And the first time I realized what this character could mean for young girls, it was so much harder because I was like, oh, the pressure is even greater than the show. Going to my first convention, meeting a little girl, and I remember and I've said this before, so concerned about the wardrobe they had me in and what that would do for young 7-year-olds, 6-year-olds watching that, because it just nothing was realistic. I was uncomfortable in it, so it was tough in that sense, because I just felt like I was gonna fail. And so I wrote like a kid's book just to kind of make up for that. About a little girl that's a superhero and she's quirky, and it was more of something that I would have related to.
She's not wearing like just.
And she's not wearing Daisy Dukes or a crop top.
You know what's harder though is that for you and Erica, coming in, like you said, coming in as a guest star, I didn't have to experience that, nor did Kristin. But to come in on a show that's already established is enormously terrifying.
Yeah, it's a new kid at school.
It's just like, it takes such bravery and such, you just have to work so much harder. And you have to fit in, and you're thinking, I'm gonna get fired. And I can't imagine the stress that has on someone to come in and, you know, it's a lot for anyone.
Well, Erica and I were talking about this yesterday. It's just like you're constantly worried about doing a good job and am I letting people down, and you're kind of anxious the whole time. The process.
I think we're always like that. I mean, I remember on the pilot thinking, I shaved my head in the trailer and I'm like, I am not as good looking as the rest of these people. They are way hotter than me. I am gonna get fired. I better be really good. I better really do stuff that they go, we have to keep him. I was like, oh my God, this is, you're always worrying about things that are out of your control. And if you can't control it, shelter. You just have to put it away and just be present and just do the best you can. And it's hard to think like that sometimes.
I don't know, I was super confident.
You bastard.
False.
Chris, now, did you, what do you take from your portrayal of Lana into other characters that you would then take? Is there anything you took from that character, like what you would use with, is it Catherine Chandler, for example? Any connections, any things you tapped into?
I don't think I work like that. I took learnings from being on set, from acting, from failures, things, but they're different characters. So I wouldn't ever be pulling from another character to inform this character. They have completely different life experiences, completely different struggles. They're going through something else entirely. So, but mostly it's like learnings from the process of acting, and building.
What's fun for going from one to another, I found for myself, is not just the character shift, but how the whole mechanism would work. So for Beauty and the Beast, or for Burden, or for your new show you're doing, how they structure the show, how they shoot it is so different. There's aspects of Smallville that were very unique to Smallville. We were there and we were set inside what the camera was going to do. And then you go to other jobs and they're like, where are you gonna go? I'm like, well, where do you want me to go? Well, where are you gonna go? I was like, I don't know, where do you want the camera to go? And I'll go where that is, So that also informs your character and the way you do things and helps you shift from one thing to another.
Every experience is quite unique. Now, when we're looking at changes beyond the television screen, we know that some of you have taken on some other endeavors. Michael, I'm curious, when did you decide podcast would be something that you would dive into?
I'm going to be very honest with you. This producer came to me and goes, hey, you got a really good voice, and you should do a podcast. And I go, I don't know, you should make some money. I go, okay. And then I realized how hard it was once I did it. And in the beginning, I was trying to figure it out. I had never really interviewed people. I learned to listen, to really listen. Once I put the headphones on, I was forced to listen. And by the way, it took years to actually, be profitable. And I stuck with it. And, between the patrons who follow the podcast and support the podcast and other people, it just slowly grew. It wasn't like overnight. It was just like getting help from my friends here who did the podcast and keep coming back. And slowly build an audience and people start to listen.
I haven't come back.
You've been on twice.
My hands.
Yeah.
It was really fun.
Obviously none more. But you know, I really enjoy it. I get to know people. I get to talk about real issues of mental health and life and facing adversity. And I try to ask questions that all of us would want to ask, not actor talk, and just have really good candid conversations. And I fell in love with it. I really enjoy it. It's easy for me now to just talk to people. And at every con, I'm like, who should I get as a guest this time? And so I'm working on Jennifer Beal, so we'll see what happens. Well, you know, she'd be a great guest.
Yeah, she'd be amazing.
I'm in love with her, about her.
All right, Laura, I know that you were on this Jigsaw. I'm always curious from those who have some time on horror sets, if they find it absolutely ridiculous and silly what they see, or is it just as nauseating as it looks on screen in real life?
I mean, it's not nauseating, it's a lot of fun. I'm a huge horror fan, thrillers, I love murder.
Murder is my top thing.
Please don't take that out of context. But I like Crime Junkies is my favorite podcast. If you listen to it. So when they approached me for Jigsaw, they said, do you want to be on the cop side or do you want to be a victim? I was like, if this is a Saw franchise, I have to die and it has to be gruesome. So I have to be one of the victims, but I made it till the very end of the film, so that's something. It was a lot of fun. Yeah, I love prosthetics. I love evil characters. Playing Indigo was so much fun. She was the villain on Supergirl. I just like all the dark stuff. So it was great. It's never gory. I mean, the blood is, you know, a lot of us know is just like corn syrup. It's sticky. It's kind of funny. Like you're never actually grossed out or scared. It's just a lot of fun. Yeah.
Now, Kristin, you've explored other franchises, I know. What was your time like with Street Fighter?
The best movie ever.
It was so fun. I got to work in Thailand. I was in Bangkok for months. I did 5 weeks of training with the stunt team, and I have background in martial arts and gymnastics and in dance, and so all of it was really exciting. And it was a tough shoot. It was like 6-day work weeks, and it was hot, and I loved it. I loved it so much.
Erica, you have stepped back into the DC world, as many of you have over the years, but what was it like for your stint in Supergirl?
Oh, it was fun.
Yeah?
It was surreal, a little bit weird. Going to sets that were somewhat like what I was used to, but all different people. They were inviting me to school, and I got to have superpowers. And Melissa gave me some hints on how to not try to look too dumb when you're doing it. If you're doing it, and nothing else is happening, but making strange faces.
So it felt like home, but there's probably some changes to it, right?
A bit of a twist. No, it was great.
Awesome. All right. Well, I know these folks have been chomping at the bit. You guys up for a little Q&A?
Yes, please.
Yeah.
All right. So how this is going to work? My friend here is going to get the microphone. We're going to put it right here in the middle. We're going to ask you to line up nice and single file, and we're going to have you introduce yourself, give us your name and your question.
Who went to Smallville Nights last night? Was it fun? Awesome. That was so much fun. Thanks, Brandon and Ralph, for showing up. Cool. All right. By the way, this better be a great first question. First up, this has got to be groundbreaking.
Well, I wanted to take it back to Smallville.
Did you shoot your head?
No, I never did. No. And you go back. Very funny. My name is Kreuk, and I was wondering if there were any Smallville storylines that you wish turned out differently, or you had more influence in maybe early in the career, and like, oh, I didn't really, like, I wish that would have gone that way, or something, maybe not even storyline, but in the show itself, that you're like, oh, if only we would have done that.
I would have changed Lana's pregnancy thing. That was weird, right?
It was so dramatic, though, and revealed how evil Lex was.
Yeah, that's why I didn't like it.
You had your
Yeah,
chance.
I'm just saying, I would have done things differently.
Okay.
I just don't know.
Fair enough, I understand.
No, but yeah, it was dark. It was dark.
It was very dark, yeah. I wish that the girls were friends.
I would have liked to have a few more scenes. I think we had one. Yeah, we had a couple.
Well, you guys were witching together.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, they were possessive. Very, very overly sexual.
That's all, the only time we wanted to go together.
It's tough being the only guy up here. No offense.
You know, you guys missed the last panel. They can ask them. The Star Trek cast roasted me for 45 minutes straight. So feel free. I'm immune. Thank you for your question.
Thank you.
It does feel like a Lex Luthor plot, though, to dump Superman and have all his lady friends up here with him.
Hello.
Alexander, just real quick, I'm great to see you at Denver Comic Con all those years ago. And I got to see you and Tom and John and her and Erica.
Oh my
That
God.
was important.
Wow,
In
dude.
the year 2008, back in January that year, so I really love seeing you all there.
I love seeing you.
Thank
You look fantastic.
I mean, my question is for you because also.
It's not for her, it's for me, right?
Yeah.
You're tricky, really. I know.
I don't know what asking for the table, but being a big Superman fan, the next Superman movie scheduled for 2025, the casting for Lex.
I have no part in that.
I know that, the casting for Lex is Nicholas Holt, and I just would be interested to hear your thoughts on that.
He was in the podcast and we talked about it. He was actually a big fan of mine when I was Lex. He watched me, I thought it was cool. And he's a great actor. He's so personable, so smart, so sweet, easy on the eyes. I think he's going to do a fantastic job.
I love him that Beast name is great.
Yeah.
You know, horror vampire comedy.
The Great. Have you seen The Great?
Yeah, I've seen some of it.
He's so good.
He was great in the horror vampire comedy.
Yeah.
Redfield, too.
So I wish the best for him. He's going to be great. Thanks, buddy.
Thank you.
I am Jenna.
Jenna, put that mic down a bit.
We know who
On the
you are.
short side. There you go.
Okay, so a few days ago I was talking about how I would be so happy to see a Women of Smallville panel like there was 5 years ago. So I'm really happy today that there is a Women of Smallville panel. Thank you very much, ladies, for
I've
being here.
played women before, so I feel
My question is for all three of you. When you think back on your time of Smallville, what scene or moment pops into your mind, or what do you automatically think of? It could be a behind the scenes or in an episode.
First one that pops into my mind is when I passed out in The Wire. They had me hanging up on a scaffolding, and then they were setting up backgrounds, so I stayed up there. And I was up there too long, and it cut off my arteries, and I passed out while I was up there. But it was a great experience overall. And I'm very grateful. That was fun.
I think for me, the first kind of like the things that flash through my mind are mostly behind the scenes things, just sitting in the hair and makeup trailer, or sitting at lunch in the wardrobe truck, or hanging out and chatting behind the scenes. And most of those conversations were with the women of the show, and it was just so lovely to have that bonding and to have that closeness.
Okay, so I usually get flashes of all the various close to death moments that I had.
Actual close to death or Lois?
Lois close to death. Okay. Yeah. Sorry, I thought that was a given. So like just the different kind of places, whether it's hanging off a building or themselves or being burnt on the cross and like all sorts of crazy stuff. So I kind of remember those, and I remember
those too.
Yeah. I was girlfriend at the time, so that was going to happen. So I kind of think about all those things, and I think about being cold at 3 a.m. in heels and almost no clothes, and then he would tromp out. He's a tromper, and he'd have so comfortable, and he'd have 4 different layers of clothing on, and I was like, but I signed up for it, so what are you gonna do?
Do you have memories of lying on the concrete at 2 a.m.?
I do.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Yes. In the rain.
In the rain.
Yeah, I remember working in the rain towers with Michael, because we barely had any seats as well, and it was brutal and cold, and I slipped on the ice, and you were so cool, because you yelled at Marshall for me.
I yelled at Marshall a lot. That dude it was freezing in Vancouver, and they had these rain towers, and it was so effing cold, and I'm bald. And I'm freaking dying. These dudes take after take of things that aren't necessary. And I finally go, dude, you got one more! One more, I'm done!
I loved it because they didn't really care whether they did anything to me, but if Michael got mad, then they were just
Welcome to Smallville.
But I stuck
But very happy, very grateful.
very happy, very grateful.
I stuck up for me. Remember when I stuck up for you when that director was, somebody was really rude to you. And I go, you know what, I don't like how your tone.
I don't remember.
It was early on, it was the guy who directed the Muppet movie.
You're throwing him under the bus now.
Well,
That's okay.
He died.
Oh, then never mind.
If it was an early stuff, it would be deleted from my mind because of my terror.
He would do this thing. Can you stand up? I don't know what he was thinking. He was old school or something. He's like, okay, you are gonna go over here, and you're gonna go, whoa, dude. We're not gonna tell people where they go and grab their arm. And I just was like, you don't remember that?
I don't.
And I just said it to him. I go, hey, man, that's not how we work. And he goes, oh, you're that guy. And I'm like, yeah, the guy who doesn't like being bossed around and treated like a piece of shit. And it was cool after that. It was cool. Sometimes you just have to, when people have these egos or whatever, you have to kind of tell them to shut up. That was pretty good. That was good, Laura. I like that. That was perfect timing. That was really good. All right.
My name's Sean. I just want to say I love you guys. And I have a funny little fact and then a question. I have a friend who absolutely loves the show. She hasn't watched the last season because she wants to wait till she gets married and watch it with her husband.
That is really cute.
She's like waiting. But the question I have is for Michael. I always want to be an actor, so sometimes when I'm watching a show, I'll pay attention to the detail in it. And one of the things when you're doing the fencing in Smallville, it looks like you're really into it and really good at it. So my question, it's a serious one. Do you think that your sword fight in sorority boys helped prepare you for Smallville?
That was a dildo fight. That was a sword fight. No, I don't know. Usually you have 2 hours of fencing practice with your partner, and they show you how to do some moves, and then they get the real fencers in to do a wide shot, so it looks good, and they cut into us. So it's really the great stuntmen and women who really shine, and they teach us how to look good in the moment. So you just listen to people who are smarter than you. That's the key to life.
Well, it worked. That's good.
Thanks, man.
To the 80s, I graduated high school in 86. My favorite actors like Jack Nicholson, Sean Connery, Harrison Ford, John Malkovich. Some of my heroes, John Cleese, like his doctor earlier. One thing he told me, he really admired Cary Grant, aka Archie Leach. We don't know that it's Cary Grant's other name. But who was for all of you, which one actor or actress, Alex Sigourney did too, and even loved it? But who was your hero actor that helped influence the one you emulated? For instance, John Cleese would emulate the Cary Grant scene from The Fair to Remember at that end. Did you guys have a moment like that, like John Cleese did?
Erica, who's your role model? he was someone you tried to emulate, or you were like, I want to be like her?
I don't try to emulate because it terrifies me, but people that I love to watch, Kate Blanchett, Judi Dench, Helen Mirren, it changes over the years depending on what I need or what character I'm playing or whatever, but those are the people right now.
I think when I was younger, the people that were like before I started acting, or right when I was starting, the people that I loved were Sarah Polley and Jodie Foster.
Woo!
And Natalie Portman. And I think also because for all of them it was both their performances, but also how they were off camera, how they behaved in their lives, the choices that they made, what they stood for, what they stood up for, what they stood for, like stood against. They were all incredible, and I mean, Sarah Polley is like an idol. She's a
Genius.
and she still holds so much integrity. I adore her.
A couple of the same for me. Like I can't emulate anybody. You can't do that. It's possible, but Jodie Foster as well.
Dude,
Kate
you're killing me.
Winslet, especially in her recent series.
Meryl Streep.
Was that?
Meryl Streep.
Meryl Streep. That was my next one. But an odd one for me that you guys might not know is Gordon Pinsent. I don't know if anyone here knows him, which is sad. I got one. He's a Canadian icon, just like Sarah Polley, and he was like my mentor since I was a kid doing this. And he was always there for me on set. He taught me how to behave and be respectful, but also, remember where you come from as a Canadian. And I finally got to work with him 3 years ago on a short film. It was his last project. He passed away after. So it was a very full circle for me. So he was someone I deeply respected in this business.
I'd have to say, I just love Gary Oldman.
Yes.
I remember when I was in college, I had this long hair, and I thought I kind of looked like Gary Oldman in a way. I always used to have pictures of Gary Oldman up in college, and I just loved his intensity, the intensity he brought to roles. And so, yeah, I mean, look, the biggest thing you do as an actor is create your own personality, your own persona. Because people already have a Gary Oldman, they already have a Meryl Streep, they already have, and they want something else, they want something new. And so the best chance of doing that is just being yourself and what you bring to the role. So,
Thank you so much.
My name is Paul. Nice to meet you.
hello, Paul.
So when I was little, like everything was Superman, I just loved Superman, the stories and the films and everything, and wanted to be Superman. I was wondering, like, when you guys were little, was there ever a superhero that you looked up to and wanted to be, or if not, is there a superhero you'd ever like to portray?
My grandpa, he was my superhero. He really was. I just loved everything about him. He loved his family, unconditional love. That's the person I think of,
And Shirley of Angry People. Or Jo March. I'd go with either of those two.
My mentor, her name's Kathy, and she's the reason I actually got into any kind of singing or acting, and I trailed around after her like a little puppy from 5 years old on, and I continue to want to see the world and embrace the world the way that she does. She's incredible.
Gordon Pinsent again for me, but we're going to go deeper than that, Buffy.
Actual question?
Yes. I mean, Buffy from the film. And the series, the film.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Paul.
Jeremy, Michael of the podcast. I didn't realize how many people on the show were getting hand blasted until he started pointing it out.
What?
How many people are getting hand blasted?
There's so much hand blasting.
We have a rewatch Smallville show called Talkville, Tom Williams. And there was that weird scientist who just had that weird face, like this, and so we got hand blast shirts
Everywhere.
on our talkvillepodcast.com, and everybody starts wearing them. So when something corny or stupid happens on Smallville, we usually want a t-shirt of it. Like when Sam Jones, there was an episode where Clark and Pete open up this cabinet and find a dead woman. And Pete's response is, "Damn, who's that?" Dead woman! What's your response? And so we got a shirt that says, "Damn, who's that?" So, I just love it.
So my question for all of you, if you could go back, give yourself 5 seconds with your younger self when you're, let's start now. What are you going to tell yourself in 5 seconds? 5 seconds, what do you tell yourself?
Don't worry, you got this.
Yes.
You're allowed to say no.
I mean, don't do it. It's okay to say no.
Ball cap?
Don't do it, it's okay to say no.
I think I would just say, let it go. Just freaking let it go. Just move on. Just enjoy the moment, and you know, this too shall pass, and all that. I just
That's
think.
more than 5 seconds.
What? 5 seconds? Really more than 5 seconds.
I'd say invest in Amazon, but
I think we just all, whether you're an actor or not, we all worry about things that are just stupid. We just worry about and most of them stem from, what is everyone else going to think of me? And the real answer is nobody gives a shit. Nobody cares. And especially nowadays, if you fail or if you look stupid, it's ephemeral. It means it won't last long. In another 5 seconds, they'll be laughing at somebody else.
Somebody else doing something stupid.
Huh?
They'll laugh at somebody else doing something
They'll be laughing at somebody else. Maybe ask yourself, who cares?
imperfection has become a theory in the era of viral media and content creating. Being your authentic self is definitely something that people look up to, as opposed to the perfection of fakeness, right? So yeah, thank you.
Hi, my name is Brian. Question and statements from Michael. Thank you for the insight in the podcast. It's been great. And if you have a favorite or go-to horror movie, because I've seen all your posters, is there like a favorite of yours?
Laura and I definitely have an affinity for horror movies, as she said earlier. I mean, I always gravitate towards The Shining.
He does the best impression of Jack
Wendy, darling, light of my life, I'm not gonna hurt you. I'm just gonna bash your brains in, Wendy. But I think the scariest movie now has changed. If you watch the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre, it's just terrifying that something like this could happen. It is probably one of the scariest movies ever made.
Thank you.
Thanks, man.
Hi, my name is Andrew, and I have a question for Kristin. How much fun did you have when you got powers?
How much what?
How much fun did you have when you got powers?
Sometimes it was really fun. I had powers a lot of times. Normally, I got to be evil, but sometimes I got to just fight. But I had a good time. I laughed at me. That's pretty much what I did, isn't it? I strangled you.
You had an axe at one point, didn't you?
Did I?
I think so.
I don't know. I've had various weapons. I had a sword. I had lots of things. Yeah. I mean, I got to wear tight clothes. Lots of fireworks. It was good. I enjoyed myself. On the whole.
You're really athletic, and those fight scenes, you really sold them.
Thank you.
We always talk about that on Talk About how you really sold it.
Thank you. Yeah. I don't get to do it anymore, maybe because I'm over 40 and they think that I am elderly. But
Have you ever gotten 50 about where your character has gone? What adventures she's been on? Have you written those stories in your head?
No.
No.
I haven't spent the time thinking about it, but I'm sure she's been on many.
Would you do that show?
40-something-year-old superpowered Lana.
Yeah.
Adventure stories.
Who would watch
my 40's the new 30. But when you 50, you just damn 50. Ain't nothing new about that shit.
Thank you. All right, our final question.
Hi, my name is Sunny, and my question's for all of you guys.
Talk a little louder in the mic.
My bad.
There you go, big voice.
My name is Sunny. I have a question for all of you. So some actors have said that when shows finish or when they're about to exit, props mysteriously disappear with them. Have you guys had any props disappear or wish you could have disappeared with you?
I stole Lex Luthor drinking glasses, the ship key, the white suit, the Zod jacket, other suits, jumpsuits, piece of art, Luthor Mansion, the real crazy doll. I took a lot of shit. I didn't take any Angel Warriors. I think Greg Beaman, the director who did the art, he took those. But why not? You're on a superhero show and people are like, why not? I'm a kid. It's like, I'm gonna take that. I would take they had Lex for President shirts or buttons. I was like, those are mine.
And this is why we don't record the show. Keep these guys out of jail.
I just love that stuff. I love going to cons and getting autographs or buying stuff. I go to horror cons by myself. I don't care.
Michael's a real collector.
You're a real kind of a collector. I have a bunch of cool old lunch boxes. Like I have my Rambo lunch box that when I worked with Stallone, he signed it and I gave it to him. I go, you signed this? He goes, you got a lunch box? And I said, yeah. He goes, how old are you? I said, I'm like 47. He goes, you got a Rambo lunchbox. I said, look, I'll sign it for you, but there might be something wrong with you. But guess what? I got a Rambo lunchbox signed. Who else does?
All right, before we say goodbye this afternoon, do you guys have anything you want to give a shout out to? Anything you're plugging coming out that you want people to tune into or hear or listen to?
I have a fart book. It's true. It's really good. Ask Kristin.
I haven't received the
But
fart
you
book.
knew-
I knew about the fart book from the inception of the idea of the fart book. I think it'll be really quality. I don't know if it will win any awards, but it might.
Right.
Kids are gonna, it's not for adults.
Well, it kind of is. It's Simon and she's just putting it out everywhere.
It's a kid book.
It is, but it's like, it's for kids, but it's like this kid, his only talent is making his farts sound like crazy, like
No,
amazing.
you can all buy the book still.
You can buy
It's
it?
a kid's book.
I guess you can call it a kid's book, but I think adults will buy it too.
You guys really want to have a book of
Yeah! You can get it on Amazon, pre-order now. It's called The Talented Farter by me, and you're gonna love it. And then I've got Rosie's Puffy Fresh Breath. It's a pet product for your dog's breath. It's odorless and tasteless. It's on Amazon. It's awesome. I use it for my dogs.
Michael also hates bad breath with it.
I hate bad breath, so I take it too. And just pitching a bunch of projects right now and having fun and doing both podcasts and making music. My band Sunspin. We have an album that we're working on, so check it out, sunspin.com. And yeah.
I have a show coming out in the fall on Fox.
Woo!
It's a murder show. It's a small town. I think it'll be good.
I have a movie out right now called Black Bags. It's a thriller. Another one coming out called Killed Victoria. I have my kids' book on Amazon as well, Super Duper Delia. And then I just optioned a book series called Gideon. It's like a female Dexter. So
Ooh, yes.
The book, there's 2 books. There's one more coming out, but I have all 3 optioned. But you can read them. They're on Amazon. It's called Gideon and Gideon Resurrection.
I have nothing to share.
No, she's not going to be on the show with me.
They were considering me for a part on Lana's show or Kristin's show, right?
Relatable, yes. My name is Kristin, but yes.
Sorry, I mean, we're talking about
I
Smallville,
understand.
so
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, Lois.
What do you think about Michael decided to go with Devon Sawa instead?
Well, I love Devon. I didn't even know about it until just like today. But Kristin knew I wouldn't do it probably. So that's probably what we said.
The reason, yeah, I was like, Michael's never leaving his home in Los Angeles. She's going to shoot it in his house in Los Angeles.
Ladies and gentlemen, the cast of